It's funny. Sometimes the biggest, most profound ideas about life and happiness, they're not hiding in some super complicated book. They're actually found in the simplest little stories. Today, we're going to dive into one of those stories to get our heads around a concept that's both ancient and, you'll see, incredibly relevant to right now, the art of everyday Chan. So, our story kicks off with this really curious rabbit. He hops up to a wise little monk with a question that, let's be honest, a lot of us have probably wondered about. He just asks, flat out, what is Chan? But the monk, he doesn't pull out a dictionary or give some long, complicated definition. Nope. Instead, he starts to tell a story. The monk just points over to this little cat who, in a flash of frustration, has just knocked a cup of water all over the place. Now, your first instinct might be to get annoyed, right? But the monk explains that Chan, at its very core, is simply about understanding others. It's seeing the cat slip up not as a bad thing, but just as a mistake. And it's about the feeling of peace that comes with that simple understanding. Okay, so a little while later, we see that same cat, and now it's really sad. It got a bad score on a test and is just being super hard on itself. You know that feeling. The monk just quietly hands it a warm cup of tea. And that simple little act, it shows us the other side of the coin. Chen isn't just about how you treat others. It's also about being kind to yourself, especially when you feel like you've messed up. But what about when kindness and understanding feel impossible? What about real anger? Well, here we see the little cat, and it is livid. Its head is practically on fire with rage. Instead of getting mad back, the monk just calmly helps the cat take one single deep breath. And in that moment, poof, the fire goes out. And that's the key right there. This feeling of peace, it comes from learning to control our own inner world. And this state, this deep, unshakable calm, it actually has a name. It's called Chan Ding. That's the calm the cat felt right after taking that breath. It's the peace that comes not from trying to change everything outside of you, but from mastering the world inside of you. And this is a perfect way to picture how Chan works in our lives. Think of it like a set of scales. The wisdom of Chan is all about actively, consciously tipping that balance. It's about choosing to cultivate less sorrow and more joy, less fakeness and more authenticity, less lazing around and more effort. It's a practice, something you do to nurture the good stuff. So you see, this isn't just a life hack to feel a little bit calmer during the day. As you start to practice this kind of balance, it naturally leads you to a much, much deeper question. It takes you way beyond just the basic instructions for how to get through life. And here it is. This is the big one. The ultimate goal of this path isn't just to live better, but to truly understand why we are living in the first place. It pushes us beyond just surviving the day-to-day and toward finding our real, deep-down purpose. Okay, so that's a pretty huge goal, right? How on earth do we get there? Well, the monk introduces another really important idea. To find Chen, he says, we first need to understand a concept called jiyan. It's a really core idea about how things in the world even happen. And to explain it, he tells another super simple story. Picture a seed. Now, this first seed, it has some bad luck. It falls on hard, solid stone. All the potential in the world is inside that seed, but the conditions are all wrong. It just can't grow. But then there's another seed. It's exactly the same as the first one, but this one lands in rich, fertile soil. It gets sun, it gets rain, and with all those right conditions, it doesn't just grow, it thrives. It reaches its absolute full potential. Same seed, totally different story. The conditions were everything. And that, right there, is G1. It's that powerful moment where an opportunity, the seed, meets the right conditions, the fertile soil. So the really crucial point here is that Chun isn't about just sitting around waiting for good things to happen. It's about learning to recognize and even create the right conditions in our own lives. Which, of course, brings us to the most important question of all. If we're supposed to be finding these moments, these opportunities for Chan, where in the world are we supposed to look for them? And the monk's final lesson is the most profound of all. Chan is always here. The opportunity isn't somewhere else. It exists at any time, with any person you meet, in any single thing you do, and at any place you find yourself. This isn't some special practice you have to go away to a temple to do. It's woven right into the fabric of your daily life. And just like that, the monk's lesson is complete. Chan isn't some faraway goal. It's a practice that's available in every single moment. You can find it when you try to understand someone, when you're kind to yourself, and when you recognize the potential that's all around you. So really, the only question left is the one we get to carry with us. Where will you find your moment of Chan today?